Good evening or good morning. My name is Craig, and I'm going to be discussing Adolescent Romance today. And we're going to explore the different facets of adolescent romance, the effects it has on students, and what we as teachers can do to address it. So we have some data here about adolescent romance. A surprise to me and maybe a lot of you is that not very many teenagers overall are in a romantic relationship. For teenagers from 13 to 17, it's only about 18%. 35% have been in one at some point when this study by Pew Research was done. Older teenagers are more likely to be in a relationship than younger ones, as you would expect. But even for older teenagers, only about 18% consider themselves in a serious relationship, and another 6% would call it a not serious relationship. Obviously, one of the biggest changes has been social media, and we would expect Facebook and Instagram and other social media websites to play a big role in relationships. But as you can see, only 24% of teenagers actually start an online relationship via the internet. So most teenagers are still using traditional methods, approaching someone, talking to them in person, to meet a significant other. Actually, a lot of teenagers do feel a benefit from social media in their relationship. 59% make them feel more connected to their significant other, and 44% make them feel emotionally closer. On the other hand, there's some negative effects. 27% report increased jealousy. And one of the big things that a lot of people have talked about, especially with Facebook, is how it affects their privacy. And teenagers do report, 69% of them, that they believe that social media makes the relationships too public and reveals too much information about the relationships to other people. The other side effect is that people experience flirting that may be inappropriate or just make people feel uncomfortable online, and adolescents are no exception. 35% of girls and 16% of boys have experienced that. This is just a little bit of humor about relationship status. Had to throw that in there. So here we talk about how relationships actually affect adolescents. So depression is actually one of the causes of relationships. Among all adolescents, there is an increase in depression in those who are engaged in romantic relationships. And a study which was done 1 year apart indicated that during that year, adolescents who became romantically involved for the first time, and also those who were involved with the same person over that period, did have a higher rate of depression. Female adolescents are affected to a greater degree, and even adolescents who wish they were romantically involved, whether that wish came true or not over that year, did feel a greater amount of depression than average. There's also greater risk involved with being in a romantic relationship. All teenagers report higher levels of drinking and delinquency who are involved in a romantic relationship versus those who are not. Specific groups, boys and the younger girls, suffer in their academic performance as well. Teenage girls in particular have problems with their parents, and we've seen in earlier lessons in this class that parents can be a little bit more protective of their daughters than their sons. And lastly, romantic relationships can affect adult relationships. However people relate to other adolescents can also affect their later married life. There was an extensive study done on that. So what are we going to do as educators to help adolescents? Some people, such as in the video we watched earlier in the semester, think that we can just encourage adolescents not to have relationships at all because of all the side effects, and just have them wait until the appropriate time in their life, which would be college or whatever when they're ready to get married. But I think that it's inevitable that a certain portion of adolescents are going to have relationships, and just like with sexual activity, it's not beneficial just to say be abstinent. You have to tell them how to have the best relationship they can for those who are going to get involved. So there are some things that we can do to promote positive relationships. A lot of teenagers don't understand the principles of a healthy relationship when they start dating. Things like mutual respect, trust, individuality, good communication. These are all important things so that people can not only be assertive and stand up for themselves, but not put down others. This makes relationships more stable, but it also prevents them from leading to consequences for teenagers. And we as teachers can not only model these sort of principles through our own behavior towards our students and towards our peers, but we can also use direct instruction and just explain to teenagers how they can be involved in healthy relationships. And this is going to help them a lot because it will at least minimize the chance of risk and other problems that we've seen that can be associated with romantic relationships. Thank you very much for watching my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it.